Welcome back, everyone, to the penultimate series of the Newell Valorant Varsity Playoffs. I am joined once again by the wonderful JP Carr. Say hello.
Hello.
And today we've got a very important game. As I said, it's the penultimate one. It is the lower bracket final, JP. We've got two teams vying for one spot in that all-important Newell final, which will be next Thursday, I believe. Yep. So, who have we got our eyes on here today, JP? What are the teams? Talk us through them.
Well, I can talk to you about one of them, but I'd be lying if I could talk to you about the other one. So, UCL Team S versus the Birmingham Bulls is our best of three match for today. Yep. As you say, it is the lower bracket final, and the winner of this will be, of course, advancing to that upper bracket or grand final, as we would call it, in a weighted best of five versus the SG Bandits, who obviously made themselves there last week, beating out the Birmingham Bulls. The UCL team doing a bit more, having to work a little bit harder, they sort of came through the lower bracket. Obviously, they made themselves a pretty decent way through. But the last time these teams met, as you can see on this screen, it was the Birmingham Bulls that came out 2-1 in that best of 3. However, and I hold my hands up to this, I have not had the pleasure or delight of casting the Birmingham Bulls. So all of their plays I've only seen on other people's streams. So it is definitely going to be a bit of a new experience for me. However, on the flip side of that, the team of UCL Team S, we have had the pleasure of commentating.
Yeah.
And we've already seen what they've been able to do on stream. We saw them win the last time we commentated on them. So there's a lot of precedent there for this team to be good. They've made themselves into the varsity series, which is one amongst itself is a really good achievement. But they've also made themselves now the way to the lower bracket final. So a team with a lot of caliber. So even though they did lose to the Birmingham Bulls the last time these two teams came up against each other, they're probably going to be out for a little bit of sweet revenge this time. And we'll see if it goes all the way to the 3 games in this best of 3. But it's looking like a bit of a spicy matchup so far. One team already making their way through solidly, the other one with a little bit of a revenge that they want to find.
Yeah, well, I've got to say that I was casting last week's game, which was the Birmingham Bulls versus SG Bandits. And I've got to tell you, JP, I haven't seen a better series in quite a few months. It was really tight. There was some great plays. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure I said at the end of the last stream that if Birmingham Bulls weren't in the finals, I was going to be really upset because they'd showed so much promise during that series that I was really looking forward to the full-on, 4 maps potentially that could come out in that grand final. So I would be disappointed to see them fall here, but that would mean, of course, that UCL Team S has improved and is able to match them. So whichever team makes it through the final will, of course, as it always is, be an absolute banger. But it does depend. These teams, are they on form today? Have they been prepping? How much do they know about their opponents? Are they ready to face down each other for that last spot? For, potentially those big vault. Well, again, everyone gets a prize at this point in varsity, but the big one is for the W. So obviously both teams are going to win this game and then win a disadvantaged best of 5 to make it, but certainly possible. And as you said, both these teams very competent. The fact that both of them have made it all the way to this lower bracket shows that there's skill and experience on both of these teams. Either of them is capable of it. Just remains to see how the games do play out. And, it's only a best of 3. Maybe a best of 5 lower bracket would be cool, but that's too much time. We've got a best of 3 and they've got to win 2 maps. And who's it going to be? Who knows?
I think a big thing to pick out, though, of the 3 teams that we've got left, obviously the SG Bandits have already made their way through.
Yeah.
And we have harped on about it quite a lot in this varsity specifically. It's very much been a changing of the guard, this split, compared to a lot of the other ones where we've seen a lot of the old stalwarts fall very, very early on. And interesting enough, we also saw Swansea Academy fall because they were the winners of the last split and they demolished everyone in the last split. So it's been a real surprise to see them fall out, not just in the early stages, but like really fall off. They didn't obviously losing to 0-2 to Noble Knots in that best of 3 lower bracket first round. We've seen the SG Bandits before previous years. In fact, they were in one of the last grand finals that I played. They picked up a game.
You played it? Wow.
Well, I wasn't in the game. I cast the final. You have to remember.
I didn't know you were so skilled.
You have to remember, Hanno, that being a caster means that you're in more finals than the players who get to play in them. You're always there in the final if you're a caster. It's great. It means you get to all the finals. But they did make a final. I think at that point it's a team with Megalodonga on it, and there was like a household favorite. And it was
that against Southampton in the varsity finals. I'm trying to remember.
Was it? Yeah, I think it was because it was a weighted best of 5. Yeah. And also, so SG Bandits have been unfortunately in the long run they got absolutely destroyed in that final. In the eventual games, I think it was a 3-1 final. But the game they did win, they really pulled out the stops. So it's a team we've seen before, but it's never been. What's the best way to put it? It's never been a household name like one of the top teams, like your Direwolves, your UK. Root X Blue Jays, your Reading Knights, or any of those, like those teams that you have always seen rise to the top that are just nowhere this year. And we're now seeing these other teams coming up. So SG Bandits have obviously taken a step forward, but both these teams that we've got now, and it's kind of the point of where I was going, is both of these are brand new teams to this top echelons of University UK Valorant. So no matter where they finish now, they've obviously made a huge step forward, but it's going to be interesting for us as well as the casters to experience these teams that we've not really experienced outside of this split and this environment with this Varsity Series. I'm really looking to see who comes out on top of the shakedown, but SG Bandit's looking pretty good so far at the top, but both these teams could give them a run for their money. They've definitely challenged them in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree with you there, and that, you know, Birmingham Bulls definitely not, from my experience, a household name throughout the university Valorant scene. That they're in the sort of playoffs brackets. They're always towards the top end of those tournaments, but they've never made it this deep before from memory. SG Bandits, again, they've been in the final before. They've been pretty well placed in several tournaments over the last year and a bit. So they're probably more well known than the other two. And UCL Team S has definitely put on a good showing. But it will be interesting to see if sort of, I'm not going to call them no-namers because that would be incredibly rude.
I can give you a story of no-namers performing their way to the top. Completely different games. But, there's no reason that these teams who are, as you, in some ways they're not nobodies. They have clearly succeeded, but to people who regularly watch UK University Valorant, you could in essence refer to them as kind of not the nobodies of this split, but it's the teams that are very much unknown. They're unknown quantities. We've never seen this UCL team or this Birmingham team get to this finals position. And as much as they've performed well so far, going from a lower bracket or an upper bracket early round, there's less pressure because you have a fallback. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the upper bracket and you lose a game, because it's double elimination bracket, you go to the lower bracket and get another go. So there's less pressure. It's kind of now do or die for these teams. If they lose this one, they're out, and that's their varsity over. Only one person will continue to next Thursday's final, which I'm really looking forward to. I have the pleasure of being involved in the casting team for that grand final. There's a lot more on the line, and there's a lot more pressure. So the last time these two teams met, it was in the upper bracket. It was the upper bracket semi-finals, effectively.
Yes. Yeah.
And obviously Birmingham Bulls came out then. But again, feeling of less pressure because you know if you lose, you still get another chance. Now it's a lot more pressure on these teams because there's no fallback. If you lose, you're out. And I know that I'll probably repeat that multiple times this evening as we go through the games, but because it's such a critical part. It was, for example, if you look at the games from last weekend's LCS, Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves, one team looked very comfortable on camera. One team looked a little shakier on camera. But because the pressure of being in front of an audience or being at that higher level final, it does have an impact on the player's mentality. Whereas when you're playing from your home in those round robin environments, you probably feel it less because all you know is you need to make that top 8. And that could make a big impact in this game. So it'll be really interesting to see how the teams shake out in this best of 3. Hopefully both have a fantastic series and we have a full best of 3. But that's one of the things I'm really interested to see is how the teams cope with the pressure of being this very much winner takes all scenario.
Yeah, and to add to that, of course, UCL Team S has had already 2 best of 3s with their backs against the wall, so they're used to this pressure. I'm sure it's even more, much more pressure now that they're facing down potentially a final spot. But Birmingham Bulls, this is their first game where their backs against the wall. They've got to find it out. But look at those maps. We've got a Fracture in there. Instantly, I'm seeing that, and I'm going, this is going to be an exciting series. And the other two split, going to come up first. Fracture second. Haven third. What a lovely little selection there. And I believe we can tell. Actually, we can't. We just know the captains. Okay, UCL has picked up Ascent, and that means obviously Birmingham has chosen Fracture. I'm excited to see how Birmingham does deal with this Fracture pick, or how they play this Fracture pick. JP, this is. Have you cast a Fracture game in a bit?
I have. Not in a hot second though.
Not a hot second, yeah.
Not in a hot second. Fracture is something I've been craving, or I've been nursing a need to cast some Fracture.
Yeah.
And for me, the key thing is, and all of the maps before Fracture they were different, but they were never substantially different to each other.
Yeah.
There was very much, you had the attacker on one side, you had the defender on the other, and opposite each other. If you're going to flank, you had to kind of come through another area and play some really sneaky tactics. Fracture is completely different to these other two maps. So we're going to go to split first. And we're going to go attacker and defender side. And you have two ways to get into A and 2 ways really to get into B. A side split kind of has 2.5, but they more or less one main through main A and one through mid vents. Haven, it has 3 bomb sites. Now, yes, there's 3, but to get into C, you go through C long or garage. You have 2 ways in. If you go into B, you kind of have 1/2 with garage, and then A, you go through sewers or you go through long. But they're very regimented access points. Fracture is completely the opposite. Fracture, you have a centralized location for the defenders, and then you have attackers from both sides. So yes, you still only have 2 points of access into them, but instead of them being within sort of flick distance, they're 180 degrees from each other. And that can make it really hard to defend, which is why Breach has taken such a massive priority in the higher level professional games on Fracture, because his fault line can pick up so much. And also, if you put Breach on one side and the team on the other, and he chucks his Rolling Thunder in, you think it could completely mess up where the team thinks they're coming from, because you can hit from these really weird angles. You also have to bear in mind on Fracture that you have some uncounterable Killjoy bomb locations on lockdown, because there is a passage under for the attackers to go underneath A, drop the lockdown, and it'll cover the site. So Fracture has these really interesting positions where if the defenders could hold the attackers out of a choke point, it's really hard to attack into them. But because there's this 180-degree split between the attackers and the defenders, you have this really interesting scenario where you might be standing to cover one area and you just get stabbed in the back from another angle because you can't cover both. And if you lose a teammate and your communication isn't spot on, you can lose a bomb site just out of one pick. Whereas on the other maps, because everything kind of funnels in from one location, it's very hard to lose that communication or information by losing one pick. So Fracture is, I feel that Fracture is very much a tempo map. If you can get tempo advantage in Fracture and you can keep your opponents guessing that they can never set up to properly defend, I think that that's a real big method, which obviously offsets slightly to the other one where you can kind of hold up a choke point and make it much more difficult to get in. So I'm really looking forward to the Fracture pick because it's so massively different to the other two.
Yeah, of course. I mean, as you said, haven't cast one in a hot second. It's not one of the picks you usually see. University Valorant, rather tame in its map selection, unfortunately. You know, it's one of the things where a lot of teams, especially at university level, they will pick up the maps that their players are confident in and they will practice those. And of course, because of the ban system and most of the season you're playing best of ones, there's only really 3 or 4 maps that you actually have to know. And then beyond that, you can just kind of ignore everything else. It's when you get to this best of 3 scenario where suddenly you've got to start worrying about, well, we don't like to play Breeze or Fracture, but we can only ban one of them. And then you get into these picks where, for example, we get the Fracture. So that's one of those maps which I'm looking at. Could be very one-sided. I hope UCL has done some prep for these separate maps. And of course, them being in the low bracket finals, I am sure they have.
Now, the other interesting...
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to jump in with one more. The interesting thing also, best of 3 leaning into best of 5, because the map pool has grown so much. There is a chance, and the Fracture might be one of these maps. If you put the effort into a specific map, and I'm thinking of like your Breezes and your Fractures, if you can put the effort into strategies that you can get to work, and your opponents don't have the practice, because as you rightly point out, the majority of our normal regular splits are best of 1, and you normally automatically default to Haven, Bind, well, Haven and Ascent are the 2 big ones that we generally see with a little bit of split Haven mixed in, but you very rarely see Icebox, Fracture, or Breeze outside of these best of X scenarios. So the fact that we're going to see it now does make me feel that the team that chooses this one has something in the bank that they hope that they can pull it out. It was Birmingham that chose Fracture.
The Bulls. It was the Bulls.
So the Bulls have chosen Fracture. So what the Bulls are hoping is they can 2-0 this one, but they take a game off of Split, because Split's very much a known quantity, a known commodity, whereas Fracture's not. So it'd be interesting to see how they rotate those 2 through.
Yeah, very, very interesting maps. And of course, a very, very interesting game coming on up as we should be about to head on into Agent Selects for Split. We've been talking about Fracture so much, but we must tell you that it is Split first up. Of course, an absolute classic back from the days of the beta. I remember playing this all the way back in the day, and what a map it is. And it's one of those maps where, if I'm going to talk about Agents, JP, I'm going to start talking about Raze. I'm going to start talking about some of the more meta controllers now. Like, for example, as we've seen there, while picking up the Omen, Madden is actually hovering an Astra, but, you know, a Brimstone, very, very strong on this map. We're seeing a breach potentially being hovered. No jet, actually, from, I believe that is UCL Team S on the attack. So no jet just yet. That raise is kind of a substitute for that agent, and a very, very strong one, considering how tight some of these angles and corners can be.
Paint shells and boombot are huge impact into these maps. The interesting one, I'm not surprised to see this is like the single map where Sage really shines. Yeah. Barrier Orb is really powerful when you can effectively choke off as a defender, but also, as you'll probably find in your solo queue games, one of the best strategies with Sage is run to the B bomb site, clear out B long, drop your wall, and that will cover you as you get past towards the plant site. And it's just a really strong strategy, which, especially in the early pistol rounds, is almost impossible to counter because pistols just don't do enough damage to it. The interesting one, as you said, we are seeing a Astra here versus a Omen. Now, Omen obviously got the huge buffs in the recent patch. Speed of his smokes went up, and the range. But the other big thing with Omen, and why they're able to hold a site very clearly on their own, is the paranoia is a great deterrent. Brimstone has the problem the Brimstone has the problem where if you misplace the molly, it may allow them still to get on site. You can't miss the paranoia. It is a solid line that just runs through B main. So what you'll normally find is either you'll put the potentially the Sofa utility onto it.
Yeah.
So you put the Cypher utility down, which will then prevent that attacking point, and then you can play the Omen on the same site, and you will then be able to shut your Paranoia down if anything triggers. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they play out this game, but we are down into the live phase. Now, we are, as you say, I want you to talk about this one, because this is a bit more your speed, I think. Why Jet and not Raze?
Well, the thing with Raze is, I mean, everyone always says Jet is kind of the meta pick, must always have them. And that's true in the most part, and it's one of the good reasons that Justice is playing it here. But Raze, a very, very strong substitute, and certainly on a map here like Split, certainly as well, it can be very useful on Bind. In these kind of tight corridor maps, like a lot of the ones from the beta, it's very Barhaven. You've got a very strong set of utility with those paint shells, with that boombot, as you spoke about earlier. You've got so much power in clearing angles, and when there's nowhere for these players to escape from, like in some of these corners at the back of B, there's nothing you can do. But Thomas with 2 to start off the game, and that is the attackers already down 2, and UCL got to find some way of getting back into this pistol. The spike's actually stuck over there. Although we do see the Bulls, they've given it up a little bit. Dice walking up. That paint shell's going to deny him from getting any close to that smoke. But they have recovered the spike. And with Omen at the top of middle, they are just kind of looking to find something. In a 5v3, you're not even trying to take a site here. You're trying to find a pick. You're trying to find an opening.
It was really interesting that the UCL decided to default split on a pistol round. The benefit they had is they were able to get an Astra Star in quite deep, which allowed Chamber and Breach to both push in. They still haven't used the barrier roll from Sage. They have a fault line of it. This could be really big. Oh wow, Rain just absolutely removes Dice, and that's going to be a paranoia through. They are going to take the site now as the fault line's going to try and counter. It's going to be too late. It's going to be a 3v4, and the site is clear, so it does allow them to get this plant down. That the team will start to move across. But getting the plant down here is important. It's 300 credits per player. So as long as you can get it down, you can try and defend. And losing the Sage early means there's no heal for this low-ish Raze player. But now they need to try and find some other players. The Jet's going to dash away. They're going to give some vision out. They're going to start pushing in. Ooh. The wall's too good. Oh my, what? That paint shell's going to kill them. That paint shell is so... Oh my God.
The frenzy on Rain goes huge, and that's a triple kill for the Raze, and certainly a good introduction. Maybe not the, all utility kills that I was talking about, but certainly a good start to see that the Rain is able to match that kind of performance you might expect from a Jet in these kind of positions. And yeah, they're going to buy up all the Spectres. And on the opposite side, of course, it being the second round, there's not much of a hope in hell. Now, Thomas does have three points in the ult, and if they got really lucky here with some shorty kills and maybe getting an orb or something, there might be a chance of the round, but they just don't have any kind of utility, I think, here that can flip this round on its head. It's going to be too challenging. Jet trying to right click there, but it's a bit unwieldy on those ropes, and the Astra Stars come in, the smoke as well to make it kind of one way, but actually they're kind of walking up towards B here, and Thomas with the shorty kind of needs to get two here. Realistically, has to do it, finds nothing as Chris finds the head with a lovely shot there. C499 with another, and Dice tries to teleport, but Callan's got the read. C499 with another one, and it's Flip all alone. JP, what a round.
Yeah, and flawless so far. And if you're on the side of UCL, that's all you want. You want to lose no players. You want to take these guns through to the next round, because as we'll talk about when this round finishes, one of the big things now is this bonus round that they're going to have access to. It was actually interesting. Thomas was in such a good position. I think they just got caught by Cullen's blind from the guiding light. Like, it was so close. Like, it was one of those ones where had it have been like millimeter difference, it wouldn't have caught them, and they probably get one kill before getting traded out. But because they don't get any, it looks like Sage is going to probably try and run into the bomb site at the end, or try and pick up a kill at the last minute. The pistol is ready. They're going to try and find one. Chris has got a bit low health. They are going to find them, but it's a little bit too early, and a flawless round there for the attackers, and 2-0 on the board. Spectre still in hand. That's really important, and we'll probably go into it now. So look at the money. They didn't spend anything now into this round outside of utility. So while your opponents have now got access to Phantoms, and we see one Guardian here for Flip, I think they've, because Sage utility is so expensive right now, it's 800 credits for the full utility suite. Cool. You can hold on to it's 400 for the barrier orb and 2 for each of the slow orbs, and it's so much money expensive compared to a lot of one. And armor as well, so it's light armor, Vandal. Because you can keep hold of these Spectres, if you get any kills, you can upgrade them, but now any damage you do to the opponent is really detrimental and really hard for them to deal with. We're already seeing the attack go through. I'll let you take us through this opening.
Justice finds one, but Chris is going to swing out and find a response, and that slow orb's going to go the completely the wrong way, unfortunately, and Chris fully blind by that. Thomas with 2! The collateral onto the head of Callan finds the third as well. That's Chris down. And wow, in a 1v4. What a, a round from Thomas, we'll put it that way. And that's one of the reasons why Breach is picking up in the meta. Very, very strong with this flashes. Maybe not quite as good as KO's, but certainly incredibly effective. And Wow has found 25% of a clutch here. We'll see if he can find the remaining. It's, barely enough to watch a couple of YouTube videos on my phone, but maybe it's enough to win him around. The spike is down. It's in between a crossfire as well. And there is actually as well a trademark in position. So as long as this chamber doesn't die, they're going to get so much warning if they don't decide to fight him. But no, Dice wants to fight, going to fall on back. Play it safe. Realistically, they want to save their economy here. It's not looking too strong. Wow, going to walk on through. Thomas does a little bit of damage, but this smoke kind of acting against him now as Thomas finds the 4K, and the defenders will pick up a round. And it's a very good round to pick up, but it's not going to do a lot of economic damage, because as you sort of alluded to in the start of that round, they can just instantly buy all the Vandals because they had a flawless round in round 2. And that's the problem with not doing any damage at all in the second round. You've got those classics. You can do some stuff.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And with getting a couple of rifles, with getting a couple of kills. So if you look at the builds, what the defenders have, they have a Spectre on Flip, and they have a Judge on Justice, which is fine on a Jet. The Judge works really well, but it's not a massively efficient weapon. So the attackers now have the advantage again. Yes, they lost a round, but they now have the advantage. It looks like they're going to push up to the Sage wall. They're going to try and kill that as fast as possible, get the Overwatch, and they're going to see no one behind the wall, which is big. They know that there's no one lurking there. They don't know where Justice is hiding with that Judge, and this could go very wrong. They don't find that Jet, but the slow orb is down. That's that's 2 pieces of Sage utility down. Now all you're doing as the team is counting Sage utility. Sage utility, despite all the nerfs that Sage received very early on, has a huge amount of value that once it's used, it...
what?
My God, what was that shot?
That was like, I think all 4 bullets through the wall there. I don't think he hit him at all. Not through that. I mean, that was beautiful from Dice. I mean, what a wonderful little spray from him.
This is quite scary though with C499 being up in this position. The trademark will catch them if they go around the corner. But losing that player early is not good, especially with no Sage hold. But the Rolling Thunder is available, which again, as a retake, you can play super back now as the defenders. You can play back and wait, and then use the Rolling Thunder either to deny a plant or to facilitate a retake.
It's like an instant killjoy, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's just insta-deploy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But they've only got 30 seconds. They need to make some decisions now. C499 needs to find this kill. They need to win this 1v1. They're going to do a little bit of damage, and the flash is going to come out, which is going to hide through. But Melon's going to get rid of Chris. Collar just pick one up, and it's just running out of time. It's now 20 seconds. It's now a 1v1 for Melon. They have to win this one. They are going to win it, which leaves the 2 players alive, and I think this round might be over here. Just taking too much time to get onto site. The spike's already been found. Thomas hiding in the wings. It's going to not be enough time. They're going to be dying as they plant this spike down. They're probably just going to stay alive here, try and find some extra money.
Oh, no.
Melon doesn't allow it.
Those were crisp shots as well, and I think that's the second 4K in the row for the side of the defenders. This time for Melon, who had a wonderful little series there. Wasn't one of the top fraggers. I think, if I remember correctly from last week, had a strong performance, but it wasn't anything special. But already showing off some great players here at the start of map 1. There's so much more to see, JP. We've got a couple of ultimates available. Obviously, they didn't actually need to use that Rolling Thunder because they got so many of those picks towards the end of that round. But Melon does have that Astral Wall up, which you can certainly throw out pretty wildly. It is limited in its uses at times, so certainly worth one for rolling out. As a Rolling Thunder, I think it's one of the few ultimates that is worth holding on to for a valuable point, because it's almost guarantees you 1 or 2 kills if they're playing on site. And Chris with the wall, that's going to open up the chance to take B, but they will have to clear dice.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, especially only with Sheriffs at the moment. They do have access to the Seekers here. It's the first ultimate to come online for the team of UCL, but again, it's not an ultimate you want to be using just on a pistol round. Especially when there's an op-in operation as well, and the team's going to go, oh, Cullen has a really nice shot, though. They're going to find a couple of players on site. They're going to blind the team, but they're not going to find anything. Dice just too good. And even though they do find one, it's just not enough, and the other 2 players are starting to run back. They do have access to the spike, so they don't know where the spike is yet, which could play into this, but they're not going to get access to that rifle that's up in heaven. And the operator's already moved across to this B site. And 2v4, it's going to be a 1v1 versus Dice. Oh, it's just not quite on target. And just so good from Dice to remove Chris. And the bullet shells are flying, but it's not looking good here for Wild. But a 1v4, it's not what you want to see. As we're seeing you can see the trace of lines from the defender point of view. That is so scary. Oh, and like a laser sight, Thomas removes Wild. What a 3 back-to-back rounds they've just put together.
Yeah, a good little response, to be honest. The initial pistol round and the SMG round as well. A good start, but the defenders coming out a little bit on top here. And I've got to say, I absolutely love Chamber in the meta right now. He makes people play the most wacky angles. You have to clear everything. It can be quite oppressive to play against if you've got a good one, and DICE is certainly showing that they're willing to play those angles, use that teleporter. I think in one of the ways that people, they don't often necessarily use them in wacky angles. They just hold an angle and then teleport when they can. But I like the idea of going into these kind of what would for any other agent, even a Jet really, kind of be a one and done. But you're able to turn it into multiple because of good teleport placement. With 5 players sort of positioning towards this B site, we're probably setting up for a B hit. We have got the Chamber and the Omen ready. Omen is moving towards mid, so it actually could be some kind of a fake. And the breach flash out. Oh, wow. That should have been a kill.
It's not good. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Chris. That jump peak did not work out for them, and the Jet's not going to die at 21 HP remaining.
So low, but Thomas finds one. Callan with the response and stuck in the Astra Pulse as well. And Justice with 21 HP has to be careful. That was so close. Falls on off in a very difficult position with the operator, but will get healed as well.
Look at the play. Look at Chamber.
Oh, he's trying to lurk out, but Flip's got the read.
Oh no! That timing was so unfortunate.
4 on 2.
Oh, if C499 had waited just a little bit longer. Oh, it's a 1v1. Callan's going to win that one now. The Justice goes down. That's a lot of things done. Now it's a 2v2. Health bars are low, and they're on top. Left. This could be dangerous. Melon had the drop on them, but they decided not to make the early play. Now it's Dice versus Rain. This could be the decider of who wins this round. Who gets the early?
Dice?
Oh, Dice is so... Oh!
Callan with a good response. That's 3 kills on the side of this guy. The Astral Divide comes on out. This guy's going to walk through it. Astra's got the response, and he finds the headshot. Melon goes absolutely huge to clutch that one out. I didn't believe it for a second that was going to happen. I thought Sky on the walkthrough would have that one for sure. But what a round from Melon and the defenders.
I mean, what a round from the attackers to even draw them that close. But the biggest thing, even... I do have to point out, Melon slightly mispositioned that Cosmic Divide.
Yes.
Had Cullen gone through closer to the box, they probably would have passed through unseen. But again, at that point, it's literally just crosshair placement. You're going to have a better idea. it's a strange one, right? Because although we say it was mispositioned, it was only like slightly misangled. Melon made the read that Callan would push through on that side where the box is, rather than doing a loop round into the main area and push through the closer area of the wall. Had Callan have pushed the other way, they would have got the drop and got the kill. But at that point, you just have to have a read. It's literally a 50-50 guess as to where they're going to come through. And they just made the right guess that time, and it's a big difference, and it does put them 4-2. But I mean, that round was, it was a 50-50 chance of winning or losing that one with Melon's positioning and the decision to look at that angle, and they made the right decision, and it puts them 4-2 up.
Justice. Saw the arm there, but couldn't connect anything. That is
through the wall.
Yeah. C499, oh, he did actually get taken down very, very low, but wasn't quite enough for a pick. Yeah, the operator, not quite as much penetration power as you might expect, and with the tour de force out right now, going to peek on in, spots the player, but yet again, all these up shots just not quite connecting. Oh, the Razor goes out. They've got the entire of B Heaven. Didn't even read this as there's two players towards the back side. The operator, but it's Melon that goes huge for 2. Wow does find a response, but Melon's already done the damage. Flip behind the wall. Just going to play passive. C499.
C499.
That is huge. He's right behind them and they don't expect it. They're clearing out B Heaven, and will they expect? They're not going to turn around at all. He's walking up with the knife, going to run at the last second, but she checks it! Thomas checks it and still falls. Justice now going to hard hold this angle. Can't possibly try and retake from Heaven here with that player behind.
Player advantage. It's 3v3. Player advantage is back. Oh, that's so good by Ray pushing out long. That completely nullifies the Sage ult. And up close, the Spectre is just as good weapon as anyone else. The knives are in though. That's huge. 2 down. It's a 1v1. It's all versus the knives. The paint shots have gone in. The bomb is starting to tick down. He needs to start getting on it now. It's Rain versus the knives. This could be pretty decent. This is all going to be about crosshair placement.
He read that it was a fake the first time, and Justice just has to stick it now. He got it halfway. He's done it! Justice with a huge play. It's enough. It's enough. It's well in enough. It's 2 seconds in. What am I doing? Oh my goodness, that jet play. Dashing on into the site, finding 2 with the knives, getting all the resets, able to turn around, fake the defuse, and then still kill the Rays, despite them reading the fake.
Oh, yeah. I feel bad for Rain because they did so much work in that round to get them to that position. It was just... C499 was on 13 HP. Any knife hits you, dead. It was the fact that Wall went down so early as well in that retake with the knives, just getting the reset so many times. I feel a bit bad for Rain because they actually played that round super well, but it just wasn't quite enough. And as you saw, that's when the... interesting decision from Thomas to push out into the wall of bullets, but he just get taken down, and now player advantage comes back to the side of the attackers. Attackers having a player advantage is way more important to the defenders, but they decide not to spam the wall, or the op's going to completely miss. They're going to repeat, they're going to get flashed out, they're going to lose another player. Flip doesn't do anything as they come through. Melon's going to get paranoid, but they have some defense with their Astral Orb is still there. But now they're going to push up, and the reposition just does not work. And, well, we were singing the praises of the Birmingham Bulls and how well they played that round, and yeah, kind of all fell apart that round.
Ooh, and Dice falls the last player, and Rain showing a very, very strong performance throughout this entire series so far. I believe that's them there on 10 and 5. No signs of stopping, although they are, down a couple rounds. They have got the skill and the expression on that team to deliver, and there's only actually one ultimate offer for either team, but the buy is still out. Dice going to be opting for that Tour de Force. Hasn't bought a Vandal or anything. Just going to be going straight in for the Tour de Force. No backup gun at all. I think they bought for a teammate. That's fine.
Yeah, I think at this point you're just trying to look at your money in for and somehow the defense. Oh, he's missed it. Oh, that's so unfortunate to miss that sort of shot. They're the ones you don't want to be missing because they're the ones. What is Rain doing up there? They're on top of the boxes.
Huge, but Melon has found the response, and Chris will knock down Melon 4 on 3. It's a revive as well, making a 5 on 3. Very well. Flip has to give away their wall's position to get it, but Justice has found another one that's actually turned it from a 5v3 to the 3v3. The ults come out from Rain, who finds one. Wow finds another, but it's Flip in a 1v1. Wow alone, gonna walk out the smoke, and Sage almost on the body of Wow, but Wow will deliver the kill. and 5-on-4. Another huge clutch round coming out. This time for the attackers.
Oh, this game's getting close. That was so good. Another 1v1, but this time it's UCL that managed to pick it up. While the ever steadfast rock at the middle of this team does the business, takes down Flip in a 1v1, and that could have gone really badly. The decision for Flip to wall up in that Heaven Rafters area to get the line of sight onto those players behind was really, really impressive. Justice getting another one before getting traded out, and a really, really interesting decision to... Really interesting. That's not good. They know where you are now. Here comes the paint shells. Oh, that's a disaster. If you're Flip, you're just like, yeah, my life is over. It's done. I can't do anything about that. And now they're going to come in. They're going to go away. But the judges are one. That was so close to being more. The damage looked like it was going to be good. But they only do one. And now Dice is going to push through, picks up the judge. Gets at least they get a weapon in hand. Chris is going to come through. C499 goes for the melon. Looks like it's going to be another round on the board. Dice gets a rifle. 1v3. Economic damage is a little bit important. C499, 36 HP remains. Just pick up a nice easy round there. The attackers 5-5, bringing it back 3 rounds back to back. Gives you a little bit of confidence, a little bit of economy. But now we're going to start to see a timeout coming in here for the defenders. And looks like they need some time. Thomas is going to call this one. Have a bit of a chat. So obviously within the timeout, the key thing is obviously no one can move. You can't do anything in a timeout. It is specifically for this reason. You guys have a chat as a team. Yeah. You can talk. That's also a benefit.
That's quite important.
Maybe we should just have timeouts where you can't do anything.
Should we just be silent?
Just not allowed to talk.
Should we just like absolutely for a timeout? We take a breather as well. You know, get some water, just chill. I think we should allow that. We'll petition Neil for next time. Look at that lovely trophy, Valorant Masters. Anyone in chat? Obviously we can't read the chat, but because we're well ahead of you. But did anyone manage to cop the Valorant hoodie drop for the Reykjavik one? Did you see it, JP? It looked amazing. It was like they blended, they like dipped it in purple dye. Oh, it looked incredible. I tried to get it, but I was a bit late, unfortunately. 3 minutes too late. It was all sold out. There's only 500 of them made. Pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah. It was really exclusive, like drop on the Valorant merch website. It was really sick, man. I hope someone has got it because maybe at LAN or something I'll see it around. It'd be cool to see. But we're back in the game.
You mean they're super lucky, right?
Well,
because 500 worldwide.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. Yeah, they'd be super lucky and super quick on the mouse. Hopefully. Also, you can get it by qualifying for Reykjavik, but I don't know if any of our Neil players have qualified for Reykjavik. Not yet.
No,
one day.
Like you say, these are university players. They aren't even at the beginning of their careers yet. There's plenty of time for them to get to that level. And Rain's going in again, and it's... I'm sorry? What? Melon must be going, I have literally no idea how this race just runs onto my site and just murders me every single time. Justice is going to repay the favour, though. Gets rid of Rain up high from the operator. Now they're going to push through. That wall is a beautiful position. It's going to deny the chamber coming through for so long. It's a beautiful wall. And then the Overwatch is going to go and do a bit of chunk damage. Cullen is positioned up. We're starting to see potentially the Rolling Thunder is fired out. Now they want to go for the push. The Guiding Light is going to deny the push. They're going to blind them for the start. He's going to come around the corner and lose the gun duel, but Justice is there as well. 1 HP and a dream with the Vandal, but now they're going to pick up the op. It looks like they're going to go for the save here, not wanting to throw the op away for no reason. Yeah, here comes the save. They're going to have to chase it out, see if they can find the 1.
Wow.
1 HP player.
Justice.
No, they can't find the op. The op's gone.
Gets away. Yeah, I think... definitely the correct play. There was really no time left on that. And Chris would get dropped as well. I mean, I've got to say that the economy, it's not in terrible shape. Let's have a look at it there, JP. I don't think they really care about an extra player dying there. They've still got quite a bit of money in the bag. And it's really the side of Birmingham Bulls, here that have got not much to their name. They have saved that operator, so realistically I'm expecting to see them play around Dice. Definitely I think the player you give it to here with those teleporters, I think you're less likely to fumble with the teleporters than with a jet dash. So if you want to try and open up something with a round, you give it to Dice, you try and see what they can find. And there's some early contacts here towards B main. Operator's not here though, so it's going to be awkward for them to find a pick, although they might be able to find the chamber cannon with some good info towards the B Heaven area, and the rotate coming around. It looks like they want to execute on towards B. The spikes here, the Omen utility as well. And Justice in position with the knives. It's Justice versus Raze. The dash is perfect. He's out of there.
Yeah, but now they're on site. It's really, really...
Oh, no!
Oh, my goodness, Callan. Where's Callan come from? I completely missed where they came from. I have no idea how they got in that position. and they're just going to pick 2 kills out of nowhere, and Dice is just too late here with the Operator Guardian in hand as well, and 2v4, and the spam through the wall is good. C499 wins the Operator duel versus Dice, and looks like it might be a 7-5 opening half here, and it's going to be 7-5 to the attackers. UCL claw themselves back from a 5-2 deficit to take 5 straight rounds to take us 7-5, and great opening half, and hopefully the rest of the series continues like this. But now it's the turn of Birmingham Bulls. The Birmingham Bulls get the chance to attack now. It's going to be interesting. Can they punch through Rain, who's really taken a forward step in this matchup, really bringing the Rays to the prominence, especially with some of those blast packs onto site have been something special, getting up on top of that high area and just not giving Melon any chance to set up any defense on that A area.
Gotta say that last round though, MVP to Callan. You don't usually see the Sky on the flank, but coming out there and getting 2.5, 3 kills there, absolutely beautiful. No one expecting it at all. Bit of a,
it was so good.
It got so busy on the site. No one was looking behind him. But now on the defender's side, let's see if they can have a sim performance. Oh, that utility straight on top of them, but they don't check C49, but he teleports away! Oh, he had a perfect position, but they still managed to find the kills. Rain with 1, Flip and Tomaso found responses, and this site completely open. The spike should be able to be planted. Rain is getting healed up. That's good, you know, for your star player.
Got to find the chamber.
Oh, he has. Nice headshot with the frenzy, and still more to come from this player. The paint shells goes on out, and yet again, Rain with a triple kill in the fifth round with 2 more available. There's an ace potentially on the cards here as Callan steals it, but Melon last alive in a 1v2. Finds Rain, but doesn't have the time to flick to Chris, and that will be another round for the side of UCL, who push ahead 8-5. Now, this is their map pick, so it's good to see them with a lead here. Otherwise, this might be quite a one-sided series. But it's still an impressive performance from both teams so far. Some great rounds on either side.
Yeah, great start there here for the side of, well, for UCL, doing what they did in the first round. That's both pistol rounds they have now picked up, and you'd like to think that they'll now be able to pick up the bonus rounds as well, or the anti-eco buy now with sort of the Marshals and the Spectres that are coming through. And it's now going to be on the side of Birmingham Bulls to see just how much damage they can cause on this defense, and going to potentially see either a one-way or a Grim Wall setup here to stop them pushing in as the first Guardian Light goes out there. But going to find a blind, so they know there's one person there. They've already walled up high. It's going to make it really... the Shorty doesn't do enough damage at range, and the Marshal missed as well. Thomas is going to lose their life straight away. Chunk of damage is done, though. That's a lot of damage as they're going to start pushing up. They're going to be found by the chamber utility. Can't find your way through that, and they're going to go back mid, having found a little bit of utility. Now they need to work out how they get onto site. Sage is going to view, take a little bit of damage. Sorry, Raze is going to view, take a little bit of damage. You're going to put a blast back on to deter a little bit more push, but a lot of movement here from the side of the attackers, but no penetration has been found yet. They can't get into site. They cannot get penetrated through this defense. It's just so hard for them to go through. And also, that Marshal is really scary. That's a lot of damage if it hits anyone.
What a utility coming in towards Heaven, but Rain still completely untouched. Doesn't find a single kill, so unlike this Raze. And that will be still a round for the side of the defenders, but for once, not necessarily because of Rain, who's currently still topping that scoreboard in impressive fashion. And 9-5 right now, getting towards the point where, well, they might be able to double the score of their opponents. They haven't got the greatest buy, of course, because that previous round wasn't flawless. They weren't able to emulate exactly what they did in the last half, but they keep enough alive that they don't go in for the full buy. They just pick up the Sheriff and the Marshal, and that means that next round they are still very well capable of picking up a Vandal, even if they lose.
Yeah, and this is the critical round for the defenders. This is the most critical. Well, no, for the attackers, sorry. This is the critical round for the attackers. They had weapon advantage. They still have weapon advantage, although losing Justice so fast to a Spectre is, like, pretty disastrous. But this is the critical round. If they can't win this round, then it puts them 10-5 down, or 5-10 down, and they're going to have to go on to an eco buy as well. They've already full bought this round, so this is the one that they really need to win. But there's 2 players lurking on site. One's hidden down in the corner, and this is going to be really hard if they can't dig out these 2 players. Also, the Raze is positioned really close. Oh my goodness, Rain, that is such good positioning, and they're going to check out the boom bot as well. That's going to give them more information. That is going to go down. The paint shell's going to fly out, try and deny even more space, to deny more time, allow the rotations to come through. This could... Rain was so close to winning that 1v1, but again, it's just a 1-player down. It's now a 4v3 to the advantage of the defenders. Yes, it's 1 back for the attackers, but they've still lost 2 rifles in this game. It just makes it so much harder to win games where you're losing so much space. C499 needs to be careful because they're on the ground right beneath him. Oh, he's going to get one. He was going to
What a sight defense from C499. He goes huge and still with 53 HP in the bag, feeling comfortable there. And that right click on the classic. I mean, it's a chamber, has the option of bringing out the headhunter, says, no, I'm just going to bring out the classic, go for a right click, and absolutely delivers. Into the side of the head there. And another big round for the side of the defenders. And I've got to say, UCL Team S coming strong out of the gate here. Game 1, 5 rounds up. 3 rounds potentially left here in this game, and their economy looking very, very strong. The side of Rain, Callan, C499, and, well, pretty dominant so far here on Split. Let's hope that they can continue that moving on to the future maps. And hopefully they can close this one out as well.
I have to wait and see. It's been pretty clean going so far if you're on the side of UCL or a UCL fan, and just need to keep going. That's all that they need to do, is just keep pushing through, keep putting the rounds on the board. The more and more rounds they can put on the board, the easier this is for them. We're going to see the Boombot over the top. That's going to get killed instantly. Let's not take any damage for free. But Paint Shells is going to go out. The swing's going to come through. But Justice with a very nice shot there. One player's close. They need to be careful of this close player. They are going to smoke it out. So we're going to see Rain fall back. Spike is dropped down in mid. So the information is a little bit gained there. Not seeing each other as they push through. Now the swing's going to come through. Justice is going to get spammed. They're going to absolutely...
Oh, the whiff!
Come on, guys!
Oh, typical. University Valorant right there. Yeah. The whiffs, the sprays. They're not always on point. Most of the time they are.
How expensive do you think that was? Like, do you think their loss of health would cost more or less than the number of bullets that were just spammed through that shield?
I think the loss of dignity from the players, really, for not finding anything there is the greater loss.
Nice.
I think for both sides. But nice. Dice has found a most wonderful timing. Oh, but he turns! What is that from C499? Why does he check that? That's so... No idea. It's Giga Brain right there. I don't believe it. I mean, maybe he's playing 21:9 monitor, and then I don't understand. This chamber is godlike. How does he perform like this? He turns instantly to the side. Must be playing on the craziest res in the world, JP.
Or this person has superhuman hearing, because Dice was walking very slowly through, and yes, they got the weapon. My goodness.
No.
Oh, that was so close to being perfect. Got almost a 3-player spray down, but Callan, talk about flick reflexes. That was pretty impressive as well.
That was... I would have been pretty shocked if Melon had managed to, get the full triple spray down there and turn that on its head after all the effort that C499 went through to secure that round for his team with that AA Heaven defense. Well, it almost got flipped on its head, and Melon very, very close to hitting that third on the spray. But yet again, UCL come out on top.
Yeah, I think if that was a Vandal or a Phantom, all 3 of them die, but it was with a Spectrum. It just doesn't have the damage per body bullet. Like, it does the damage on the head, but the body bullet just doesn't quite do the same amount of damage. So that was big as well. So obviously going to be interesting. Op now in the hand of C499. We're going to get a peek, and we get a player down.
A lovely skin as well from C499. You got to love
nice.
the Origin collection. In comes the util, and it forces C499 off. He's got to back off there, and they're actually all 4 players. JP is stacked outside. This has got to be an A hit, and at least Rain's hitting out of backup C4.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure what they're planning on doing. It's like they're dry peeking out, and that was it. They got a dry peeked into the area. They have enough utility to have smoked off that area and made it a little bit less risky. And now they're going to come through. They're going to flash through this smoke, and they're going to execute onto site. They don't know where the last player is.
Rain.
Justice is going to... Oh, he missed. He missed. It didn't do any damage, and they're all 4 on site. And this could make it a little bit harder. The wall's going to go up, but they are going to kill the wall super fast, which allows them a place onto site. The aftershot's going to go through. The spike is now going down. Flip's going to plant it. Oh, just poor, such unfortunate timing there. C499 pushed too far up, but Chris is on the flank. They're going to see 2 players. They're going to both fall over. Oh, the Astra ultimate. Oh, the paint shells. The paint. Oh, no.
Astra wall. Oh, wow. Picks it up. But what a flank. I've got to say, the Sage, such a quick flank on towards the A site. I think it's Chris, if I'm not wrong. Just trying to remember the players. there, who is able to pick up, well, the Astra's in astral form, so that's a free kill. But getting 2 for none there and converting that retake into a very winnable scenario was beautiful.
Match point.
Anyone need anything?
Was Chamber dead at that point?
Which chamber? Because there is 2.
Sorry, the attack, the red side chamber. Was Dice dead at that point? Must have been, because
Dice was one of the players there. I swear, it was Dice and Melon.
Because there was a cipher trap. Not a cipher trap. Chamber trap protecting the flank, and it didn't trigger or notice Chris. So they must have taken out Dice.
They must have taken out Chamber. That surely.
Yes,
otherwise that would have been a must-have. It would have been a very poorly placed trap if they had managed to get past that one.
No, it was definitely there. I saw it on the minimap as the round ended, and it was still there. It hadn't triggered. So yeah, those must have gone down early, which allowed the beautiful flank there from Chris, just completely unexpected, gets rid of 2 players. Here we go.
Jump there.
The push. Get away. Get right out of dodge at that point. And Op with tour de force backup. What else could you really want there as a chamber?
Nothing at all. And Rain. That's huge. The Rolling Thunder. In goes Justice. Finds just 1 for their money. It's Chris actually that comes out with a double kill. Looking for 3. Concussed and finds 3 plus a revive. What can this Sage player not do? As Chris pretty much secures. Will get dropped a bit overzealous there. Looking for the 4K. And Dice. With a shot here. Yeah, the Seekers are out. There's a smoke down. Surely completely locked out this round. He just ulted. The tour de force has been invested here because it is the final round. And with the smoke down in front of him and 8 HP JP, I think this one is done and dusted.
Yeah, I'd like to agree with you. They know where the player is. They're going to peek around the corner. The op shot is clean. C499 takes out their opposite number. And Dice falls down. Woo! What a way to start this best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a particularly tight game, but boy, did it have some crazy moments. There was some beautiful plays, some wonderful flanks, and some outstanding displays of talent. So, I mean, Justice, that 3K in the defuse, I'm just thinking back to that very early on in the game. Beautiful play from them. Rain, just on the raise, like keep this guy on the raise as long as you can. That looked beautiful. And then Chris and Callan with some good stuff as well. Yeah, absolute props. Very, very impressive map 1, and there's potentially 2 more maps of that to come. JP, it's not the end.
I mean, I do want to just point out that UCL scored 10 unanswered rounds in that game.
Yeah,
they were 2-5 down, and they finished 12-5. Like, if you're going into a map 2 on a map that the opposition's chosen, I don't think there's a better way to go into the next map than by being 10 unanswered rounds into a team that showed a lot of promise. And there was just a number of rounds. There was a number of rounds on that attack there that felt like they went the way of UCL when they could have easily gone the way of the Birmingham Bulls. Just a couple of headshots there, like Melon, if they had had a Vandal or a Phantom rather than the Spectre with a spray down of 3, they probably get all 3. Instead, they only get 2. Callan turns around and takes them out, which then means that it's a 2v2 rather than a 1v2, which potentially could have put a 6th round on the board and built some economy. But UCL put just so much pressure on that second half, where they were just basically just completely won out the game. It was 7-5 into 12-5. That's a massive win there for the side of UCL on that first map and gives them a lot of confidence going into Fracture round 2, which was the one that the Birmingham Bulls chose. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue that momentum.
Yeah, and obviously the big relief for them is that they can't go out next game. They've kind of got a freebie. Yeah. If they win their opponent's map pick, good for them. They've 2-0'd Birmingham, losing to them 2-1 in the upper bracket a few weeks ago. And if they lose it, well, that's fine. They've still got the last map pick, which you would expect them to be much more comfortable on, which is, going to be the decider if it does get down to that. But they've got some breathing room now, and they're trying to focus on this next map, how they're going to pick up Birmingham Bulls map pick. But we will not be doing that right now, as we'll be heading into a very short break just after I thank our sponsors Intel and Twitch Student for powering and supporting this entire tournament. So thank you to our sponsors, and then we shall be going to a very short break, back with game 2 in just a moment.
Live 17 floors up, and when it rains I can feel those drops in my window pane. Lets me know that I'm I'm still here. When the sun comes out, I will go outside. When it breaks through clouds, I will give a smile. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Times I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times. I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and up, and when I cry, I can see this city through my watered eyes. Lets me know that I'm still here. When my eyes clear up, I will go outside. I'll imagine you're still by my side. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Run away, to the nearest place where I'll find all my old friends. Times I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times. I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times. I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and this town with the speakers loud and the radio playing old Sublime that we stole online, every verse we know. And we hadn't had a clue if we'd make it by noon or even where we'd go. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere. The tank said E and we all agree that we're just too broke. Fill it back up, so we left your truck on the road with Rome. Then we found a motel with a cigarette smell, so we knew.
Welcome back, everybody. We've just come out of map 1 of the Newell Valorant Varsity Playoffs and lower bracket final. And what a map it was, with UCL Team S picking up their first game of the series as we head into map 2, which is, of course, the Birmingham Bulls pick. We're hoping for a bit more of a show from the side of Birmingham because JP, they got a little bit stomped last game. There were some great plays from both sides, but the rounds pretty much all went the way of UCL Team S.
Yeah. So basically the story of game 1, UCL took a slight lead 2-0, then 3-2, then 2-0, and then it kind of all fell apart a little bit. They lost 5 straight rounds to allow Birmingham Bulls to bring it to a 5-2 before they rallied, and they took themselves to the UCL team took themselves to a 7-5 halftime lead. Set it up for a nice close game. 7-5, 2-round advantage to UCL. UCL had a very different script written up for the second half. They then rattled off a clean sweep of rounds to take themselves to a 13-5 finish in that first map. And what looked like could have been quite close on the surface was a demolition job by the UCL team to take down Birmingham Bulls in that first round. But as you did politely point out, it wasn't as plain sailing as that. There were a couple of scenarios, and we picked up on one before the break, and we'll pick it up again. There was one where Melon had a beautiful angle for the retake coming into A, and they had a spray down on 3 players, but it was with a Spectre. They only got 2. Callan whipped around and got rid of Melon hiding in that lurk corner. However, had that been a Vandal or a Phantom, that's 3 players just gone. And instead of it being a 2v2 on the retake, it would have been a 3v1. And I think that's what turned that round difference again, because weapon advantage to the side of the attackers at that point. But Birmingham Bulls showed a lot of grit and determination to get through some real great runs there by Melon and by Dice. Justice had a couple of good rounds on the op, but was a little inconsistent. And then just for Flip, it was great on the Sage, but just never had the impact that you hoped for. They had a couple again. Each player had a couple of good, clean, crisp rounds.
Yeah,
but it was a few. Whereas it felt for the side of the UCL team, Rain just took over the game. On that raise, they were astonishing. They 20 bombed at least. I think they were nearest to 30, and they just completely stomped the Birmingham Bulls out of a lot of those rounds and completely denied it. But we are now going into map 2. We are going down to Fracture, which I'm quite looking forward to. And this is where you're probably going to see a little bit of a mix-up in picks. This is where that information agent like Sova is almost a critical element because of how hard this map is to play around with the dual attack sides into a single defender spawn.
Yes,
although they're going to prove me wrong, though, and they're not going to take us over at all. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a commentator.
Yeah, you just talk the talk. They play the game, right? We're nothing. But we do see Justice back on that Jet. Thomas going to be on that Breach again, which was a very, very strong pick as well in the last map. Dice on the Chamber. Again, Fracture, one of the few maps in the pool where you tend to pick the attacking side because you can choose to pick the attacking side. It's viable because it's very, very strong if the defenders aren't playing it properly. And as you alluded to very, very early on in the broadcast today, if the communication isn't on point, the attackers can exploit it so well. So depending upon the level that you think your opponent's at, definitely starting the attacks is good. But of course, it is the UCL Team S who have picked, I believe, the defense, as it is Birmingham's map pick. And looking at those agents, we've got 2 new controllers, if I'm not wrong. We've got Viper and Brimstone coming out, whereas last game we had the Omen and the Astra. Shows there is a bit of variety in the meta after all the patches that we have had. I believe as well, Rain still on that raise. Fracture, it's a map where the raise is bad. It's nowhere near as strong as somewhere like Split or Bind, but it's definitely still viable. And after the performance that Rain put on last game, I think you definitely still want to be playing that character. So still no Jet for the side of UCL Team S, but that's more than made up for by Rain.
Yeah, and we are seeing a couple of little changes here. Obviously, we're seeing the Brimstone and the Breach being picked up here by UCL Team S rather than the the Sage and the Omen. But the Birmingham Bulls have gone for a lot of a much more defensive controller orientation with both the Astra and the Viper, 2 agents that we felt would have fallen a little bit out of favor, just with the changes that came to their kit and the quite significant nerfs they both received. But now we're going to start to see it here. Looks like we're going to go through. First, teleport goes out there for Dice. They've smelled out where they think they're going to come from. So we see the first Sky Smoke comes down. Wall playing that ever so impressive controller role. But Chris is in a pretty rough position if they get peeked out here. They're going to hide in this corner. They're going to get flashed, but they're not going to get seen. But now this is 1v1. Can they find a play?
Well, they look
the wrong way at the wrong time. The flash is going to come out. This could be disastrous here. This is a Breach 1v1. That's a headshot. That's a huge amount of damage going to get down. They're going to have very little HP, and now the aftershot's going to come through, and he's going to pick up the kill. Thomas is going to go down. The hero of the early rounds there for the side of the Birmingham Bulls is going to fall down, and Grizz is just cleaning house, and 2 players on the other side are going to get completely destroyed by that raised nade, and the gadget's going to be destroyed. They know someone's behind them. That's going to fall down. That's a big pick, and it's a 1v5. It could be a flawless round. They have no idea there's a player behind them.
Oh, wow. No. UCL Team S pick up the very first round here on Fracture. Birmingham Bulls, you know, it's not a good sight to see, especially after you just come off a pretty devastating streak of losses. I think, as you said earlier, it was 11 rounds in a row that UCL Team S picked up. So Birmingham Bulls, in turn, lost 11 in a row, which is not a good sign. And I'm hoping that the mental side of the things is not affected by that. And obviously just losing their 12th in a row there. They've got to pick themselves up and create some opportunities for rounds here, because again, if they're on the attacking side, they want to be looking to pick up, well, probably 4, 5, 6 rounds. Realistically, it's very, very strong. If this is your map, your attacking side should be pretty effective. C499 picks up one there and teleports well away, but through the door they go. The SMG spray on down, but it doesn't really work out as Flip finds a response. Rain has managed to sneak through the door as well, and has actually picked off Justice, who's not looking anywhere near this raise.
Yeah, they've got to be clear for this player hidden on the left. There could be a crossfire setup here. They're going to go one, but it's not enough. The pistols are just not good enough against all of the Spectres. And wow, I was going to say before they kicked into the round so fast off you, Hanno, that's all 3 pistols and all 3 anti-eco rounds picked up by the side of UCL with no problems at all. That's 3 back-to-back pistol rounds. That's pretty scary.
Wow. Yeah, that's it's one of the things in a series like this where if you don't pick up any of the pistol rounds, that's a very, very poor metric, I think, for how your games are going to go. Because a pistol round, as we can see, I think every single time UCL's won, they've also picked up that second round. There have been no force by wins from the side of Birmingham Bulls. So that's kind of 6 rounds for free that they've managed to acquire, where Birmingham Bulls found nothing of the sort. Every round they've had to win has been pretty much into a full buy. Very, very challenging for them to do so. And UCL Team S now haven't got a lot of information here. They've actually completely left that dish area with just the trademark in position that has just been broken. And those A players will have to move back. Thomas trying to search for something here on B, but does have that spike in hand and doesn't want to lose it. So we'll back off, back towards their teammates, where they might be able to make something happen as both those players stack towards A. In a little bit of a crossfire here. And they are about to get walked into. Oh, the perfect breach ult. Utility, sorry. And they find one. Flip with both. That's beautiful entries in the Bulls in with a chance here at round number 3. Obviously, they've got the weaponry advantage, but they've also got the pick advantage. There's no way they throw this one now.
Well, you're going to say that. There's a lot of pretty low health bars here for the Birmingham Bulls. They are going to spam through the smoke. We're seeing a frenzy in hand of Spectres. Not the most impressive amount of weaponry, but we're going to see the bullets fly. And Collins not going to find them on that flank. And looks like the Birmingham Bulls might be picking it up. The paint shots are going to go in, not find anyone. And it is a pretty good kill there from Thomas. They're going to get the second one headshot through the wall. And it is a flawless second round, or third round here. The Birmingham Bulls finally on the board. And they've made their way into this game. Exactly what they needed to do.
I don't want to set it just yet, but if this game potentially, I believe UCL Team S won the first 2 rounds, right, of the last game, and then Birmingham Bulls went on to win 5. So it's a very similar pattern. I don't want to call anything out too yet, but very, very similar pattern. Birmingham Bulls able to win that rifle run into those SMGs, but now that they're facing down the full utility and weaponry coming out from the side of UCL, how will they fare? Last time, not too shabby. But the latter half of game 1 may have affected their confidence here as C499 swings on out and does get away with 16 HP in hand. Chris with a pick. Callum with another, and Rain with the third as well. Bulls being absolutely picked apart here. This B-side defense is looking really solid here as Flip forced all the way back out. Will now be the last player standing. Dropped as well, another flawless. And the Bulls, no chance of getting any kind of momentum there, which is kind of what they want to start doing. If they don't win this game, or sorry, if they don't get enough rounds in this half, they might just be forced straight out of this series on their own map pick.
Yeah, and that was pretty devastating. Lose a round, no issues, just flawless through the next one when we get some weapons back in our hand. And for the Birmingham Bulls, you've got to be thinking, this could be a little bit challenging because it's very much a race against time, because you are on the lower one, because you're the team that's a map down. As we go into the next round, you can hear the timer ticking down, and it's going to be instant pickups there as the first few players come in. Great pickup there by Rain. Just get rid of Dice. That's honestly one of the interesting things with the UCL is they're playing this defense like an attack. They're playing super aggressive into the Birmingham Bulls. They're not giving them any time to play any sort of map control, is the way I'd put it.
Yeah, and that oppression coming out from UCL is being richly rewarded in terms of rounds, as the Bulls just struggling to find much at all. A lot of damage coming on out here as C499 does find another pick onto the Bulls, and Callan as well onto Justice. Melon does find a response, and the Bulls now 2-on-4. Still a chance, I believe, in this round for them. And
Flash is so good. Chris is so good on this breach. Oh my god, it's just if you're the Birmingham Bulls, you're like, okay, now we just need to play a game where we find where the breach is and then go with the other place.
30
I don't know if you agree, but that's how it feels.
Certainly do, JP. Certainly do. And Spike gonna go down. Thomas actually in a 1v3 here, which with the utility that he has available, actually viable. The ultimate up as well. Very low though, and Rain might just be about to walk through this door. The Seekers go through and open the door for Rain. Doesn't have to even press a handle or anything. Callan will pick up the kill. And the revive. The spike defuse should come on out. There's no stages in this game. There's no revives. A spike defuse will come on out. And another round will go the way of UCL, who, you know, we talked a little bit at the start of the game, didn't we, JP, about how this is a pick from Birmingham that maybe is something that the other team wouldn't expect. It's something that Birmingham Bulls prepped on.
Yeah.
This is kind of their ticket to a free game. It's not looking that way at all, with 4 rounds pretty confidently going to UCL.
Yeah, that's probably the first round for the Birmingham Bulls that they've drawn close to UCL that they haven't won. The other 3 have just been shutouts, basically 3 flawless rounds for the UCL Team S. And if you're UCL, you are pretty much riding on the highs of just taking those first few rounds. And I think that's an important thing to bear in mind, that they are probably playing on a lot of a high and a lot of momentum, which is great. And it's something you really need to play off of, especially... I have to laugh. I'm so sorry. That looks so funny as they dash forward and went straight back to the same position on the up shot. But C499, beautiful shot there with the up. That was... I would say comical, but that would be harsh to the team. That was hilarious to watch.
Right there.
2 players for Birmingham Bulls stacked up towards the A main entrance, and C4 is here holding them down. So their only option realistically is to go through that door, and the breach might be about to come on through. As they do go through, Chris finds the kill. There's a headshot onto one. C499 still holding the angle, and Chamber walks on out. That's C499 with another, and Flips now here, scoped on up with the Marshal. There is the breach just hopping around the corner, just trying to, you know, do a little jiggle, do a little jump spot.
Go make some noise. Try and disorientate your opponent with where they are. They're going to slip one in, but the teleport away is just too fast. Pain Shell's going to push them back again. They still have control of the spike. Wall's going to fall to Melon, but it's just too late. Flip just get another one, gets rid of Chris, gets rid of Wall, but just too little too late, and another 2 players go down, yes, for UCL, but we're going to soon see on the tab screen here, look at the funds that they have available. They have the option to play. Callan has 7,000 credits. It's only going to drop to 4,200 to give Wall another rifle. That is how much money they are swimming in. They have rounds this round, and some of them will have rounds after the next one, even if they lose the next 2. But 5-1, UCL Team S is making a mockery of Birmingham Bulls' pick here, and this is looking like a bit of a stop right now. And Birmingham Bulls are the ones that really need to pull something out to really show what they can do on this map pick.
And this is the point where I would just love to know more information about how Birmingham Bulls picked up that 2-1 against this team, UCL Team S, just a few weeks ago. What has changed since then? Because it looks like absolute domination is Bulls do find an opening for once, but Chris swings on it and still gets dropped. And there's Birmingham Bulls, 2-man up. They've got loads of ults. They've got pretty much an open A site here. There is Rain in position now, but it's Callan that actually gets dropped as the Bulls actually starting off really strong this round and looking to close it out, as well as just 2 players left alive. Surely in a 5v2, they cannot possibly lose. It's C4 and Rain, though, both players that have had huge moments previously, right, JP? They are the players that could clutch in a situation like this.
Yeah, if anyone's going to clutch it, it's going to be Rain, and it probably C499 as well. Oh, that was so close to being a great kill. The jump peak's not doing anything. I think at some point you might need to cut your losses here for UCL and just save this op. There's a player up top, which could be quite dangerous here for Rain. They could get stabbed in the back. They're going to try and find one. They're going to find no one so far. They're going to push through. Flip is too clean on that, and the teleport away. They're going to save this op here. They can't afford to lose this 4,700 credit weapon, and they're going to take it away. They're going to run back to B side. And you know what? Great finally for the Birmingham Bulls. They countered the aggression that was being shown by the UCL team, and they pick up a round for it, 5-2. Start to pull it back in. That's one on the board. Now they need to find another one.
Not just another one, JP. I think they need to find
a lot more. But one is a good starting point.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the second round they've won in a long time.
In the last 17, I want to say, the last 16 rounds they've won 2. In the last 18 rounds they've won 2. Which it's not it's not your typical series, especially when you go to your map pick to start off this poorly. But again, I don't want to call anything too early because we said that they might have some stuff prepped, and maybe they only have that stuff prepped on the defense. You know, a lot of teams do tend to neglect one of the sides. They feel a bit confident on something, or if they're playing scrims, for example, they don't sort of balance out evenly, and they never really test themselves on one of their sides. That can happen, and in these sorts of scenarios, of course, you know, that's why their attacking might be a little bit weak here. But of course, with 4 ultimates available, you would expect them to continue and try and build some momentum here. Honestly, investing as much as you can just to get some rounds on the board here, I think is worthwhile. What's the point in saving a Rolling Thunder to win a round later on when you'll still be down, 8-4?
Yeah, and I think, but the thing for the Birmingham Bulls, and this is one of the hard things, they have maybe one impactful ultimate to get onto a site. The others are a lot more impactful in those post-plant situations. So Breach is probably the most offensive ult they have, but they're also playing into the showstopper at the moment, which is also quite a scary proposition and a counter Rolling Thunder. So they still need to be careful with the use of these ultimates. If they can get onto site, obviously the Viper's Pit is a huge ultimate and a huge tempo swing, but they need to get onto site. But it looks like they decided to pick here on the B-side site, and we haven't really seen them attack this site very much, so it's going to be really interesting to see how much emphasis they can make in, but the trade's already going to come through. The op is going to get rid of one, and the spam split shots are not going to find anyone, but there's 2. That's the second one found. That's huge. That's UCL team. That's, 3-3 now, and they're trying to find a way around. Rain is so good in those tight corners. The paint shells are going to go out as well, deny another player access to site, and 2 players left for the Birmingham Bulls versus 3, and it looks like they're running for the hills. They attacked a bomb site with too many people already ready and waiting, and they don't have the spike either. Well, it's starting to make its way over now in the hands of Thomas, but really, really, really good hold there from TUCL. In Wall is already here. This could be pretty disastrous if you can find any of these opening kills. Wall's going to come down. Oh, he finds the first one. That's huge. Wall making the fast rotate through. They're going to find both of them. Oh, wow. What a hold. They went on that huge defensive hold, and then Wall, with the big brain, makes their way across the sites, and they hold it solo. 1v2, get them 2 1v1s and clean them out.
Very, very strong hold from Wall there. That's the kind of plays that has just been keeping UCL so dominant. Every single player on their team has had some beautiful moments, and I believe, in fact, that was also Wall's first 2 kills of the game. So, been pretty quiet the last 7 rounds, then just to pop off in the 8th. But every single player on their team's been doing well and been able to be relied on and find multi-kills in the situations where they are required. C499 here setting up spots. The Viper walking out in the open. Doesn't quite find the Jet with a lovely headshot from Justice. But Justice will be walking on up, and Rain going in very aggressive, but the Jet is there to deny as they are taking control of this B site. 3 players on the rotate. 2 of them coming straight behind though. Will they expect both players to be coming here from Arcade?
Well, Dice has got their tour de force as well. Oh, it just doesn't matter. They're going to get stabbed in the back. That's a lovely headshot, and players now come in. The ult's going to come down. They're going to try and deny some space. They are going to get some damage down, but they're not going to push anyone out. The Rolling Thunder's going to come in counter, and that's 1 kill come through. That's a big kill up there from Chris. It's 2v2 now. The retake's coming through. It's 1 player left alive, and it is the Jet, and it's just not enough. It's 2v4. Hold there from UCL Team S is gigantic there. Birmingham Bulls just fallen apart at the seams, not covering the flank there from Wall and losing players early on. And Chris was just absolutely monstrous in that round. The breach ult, the Rolling Thunder picking up so much pressure and the flashes through to pull out those last couple of kills.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel necessarily like Bulls quite have the firepower here to match UCL Team S. On an individual level, the UCL players seem to be able to win a lot of these Angels, not only win one round, but multiple. As I was saying last round, the multi-kills are coming in thick and fast for these players. And that's the kind of stuff that, I mean, it does come down to aim, but it also comes down to the trading and the positioning, I think, of a lot of these Bulls players just being caught in the open. For example, the Viper just walking backwards straight into the open arms of the Tour de Force from C499. It's just not very likely that you're going to win a round if you're giving away kills like that. And Chris finding yet another kill just like that with a perfect blind with no chance at a trick. I say that, but just finds him through the smoke. Birmingham Bulls relying a little bit on luck to pick up some of the kills here. 3 of them now coming towards this B site. They've actually just walled Rain out of it completely, and they should be very comfortable to take this site by themselves.
Good denial there. Oh, some chunk damage as well going on to Justice. Going to feel that one, but now the Viper's Fit is going to come in. The huge counter to the retakes coming through. Wall is going to find one. Cool.
Plays for his food.
Big pick. Thanks very much. That's a big pick, though. That's really big for them, but they need to find Flip. Flip is playing really close. Oh my goodness me, they're playing so close. If they can find them through... Oh, they found... What? How are you doing that? You're kidding me.
Waller's just consistently finding his players now. I don't understand how he's able to find 2 on the flank, then the Viper just putting himself in a position and walking through at just the right point to find them in the side of the head. And now in a 2v2, C49 going to tap the bomb, and he's got 2 players to fight. How can he do it? C499 though, as Bulls pick up the 3rd round for themselves. A very much needed one, but still a little bit too tight for my liking.
I thought they'd got it to halfway. I thought that C499 had held it to half. They could have held it to half. That's so unfortunate. But that was such a good retake. They cost them so many players. Only 1 player from Birmingham Bulls stayed alive that round. So look at their money. Like, look at the amount of money. They weren't able to save the op. Melon died in the bomb explosion. And it's 7-3 with 2 rounds left before the first half ends. The money is still rough if you're on the side of Birmingham Bulls. So you're going to be on a safer round if you lose this one, as the Guiding Light's going to come out. That's a big blind to start off. They're going to hear that noise. They're going to know some players there. You can already see the hard rotate coming through, and the spike's not even been committed. But they're just going, no, we're not even giving you a chance to hold this one. We're going to come straight across to you. Boombot's going to go out, find a bit of information as the first player takes it down.
Right there.
Bit of utility coming out towards Heaven. That allows us to get up, and Callan still, he finds 2. The heads both walking out into the spray. And that's a big initial pick from Callan. Dropping the Seekers as well. A little bit over the top, I would say. Callan really looking to find some value here in this round and secure it for the team. Of course, could be looking at it. Dice, though, with the response on the other side of the map.
Wall.
That's Rain down.
Oh, no.
No. Yeah, the perfectly timed Viper wall. A little bit late, but still just enough that Wild can't find it. And then it is hard to find a spray with that Bulldog. It doesn't fire particularly quickly, so they couldn't get the tag to at least slow down that player and hit multiple bullets into them. Dice playing under in this a site, and on the retake it's a 4-on-3, so it should be slightly defender favored, and with so much utility going in, what can they do? It's a free kill for Callan. That makes 3. Looking for the 4th as well. Going to throw a flash out. It's Wild that picks it up. Thomas stuck in this position here, but Spike should be very comfortably used as UCL frankly dominate yet again with 4 players left alive. 8-3 the scoreline, and well, the money, as you alluded to earlier in the round, it's just not good. Look at that. They can maybe max get 2 rifles out. The rest of them are forcing up. On the other side, they are comfortable. They've got the operator. They've got a pretty close to a breach ult as well in case they need a retake. They're going to be super, super happy in this round, and it will not surprise me if we see a 9-3 half here, which is a really poor sign for the Bulls.
Do we need to talk about the curse, though? Do we believe the curse is real?
If we say the curse, then it won't happen.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying. Yeah.
So we can say the curse. So we believe in the 9-3 curse. So we're going to say that if we get to 9-3, they then guarantee lose because of the 9-3 curse.
Well, yeah, but we want them to win.
I also don't see a world in how I also don't see a world in how the Birmingham Bulls don't go 3-9 down here with just the amount of pressure that UCL have got on. But then it's down to the attack. We've seen one team can do it, so it's going to be all on the others. We're going to take some little bit of damage through the wall, but nothing too substantial. A little bit of damage is going to be done back. But now they've got to find out where they want to go. A couple of players stat down. The spike is at the bottom of A, and they're going to hear an op. And if you don't really want to be hearing an op ringing out in this sort of round, it's not the most ideal noise you want to hear, but a low health, pretty low already there for the side of C499. Have to be a bit careful now. The Astro Stars are going to come in. They're going to start to push through. They're going to find their way in. Dice does have a Vandal, and now the push goes through. It's going to be a hard push here onto the bomb site. They are going to get found out, and they're going to get slowed a little bit, but nothing too much. Wall, this is on you to hold this through. Rolling Thunder is going to come through.
Oh, it gets 3 of them.
Rolling Thunder. And the spam's going to come through. It's not going to find anyone, but that is a huge time waster there. And they're going to find one already. The aftershot's going to come through. Wall's going to try and find a fight. They're going to lose it down. 2 players have gone down each side. It's 3v3, 3v2 for the Birmingham Bulls. This one was the one they might be able to pull back. The off is just too good though, and it's just so clean. They're so good with rifle and 9-3 as we see does come through. UCL are taking the fight to Birmingham Bulls, and Birmingham Bulls are being found wanted on the field of battle this game.
The micro adjustments in the aim from Justice, just not quite able to find the head of C499, who will pick up 2 kills there and secure, as you say, the 9 and 3. And realistically, we want to speak the 9-3 curse into existence here, because Birmingham Bulls showed so much last week. There's so much potential in this team. I was really impressed with them, especially matching SG Bandits blow for blow in a lot of scenarios. And frankly, I think they're doing themselves a disservice so far in this series. Maybe they tried to, finagle the veto, and they got some maps that they really weren't expecting, or I don't know what's gone wrong here, but this just doesn't look like the team that I saw last week. Unless UCL Team S is really that much better, as Rain finds 2. That should just not be possible with a frenzy that close range. They're blind and gets 2. Rain finds 3. I think he's done this in every pistol round. I just don't believe it. 40 HP, but already on a triple kill with a chance at an ace. I think I've said that about 4 times already for Rain.
Oh my god, the flick from one side to the other. They're looking for the quadra. They're going to hide in the corner. Are they going to find the quadra?
Reload.
No, I don't think they are. The thing that, they somehow get out of it.
No
way do they get out of that.
9 HP. Rain gets it.
Oh, he gets it. There's a
that
big
is
chance.
huge for Rain. He's been trying this entire series. He's had about 9 attempts at an ace, I want to say, and finally secures one. And it's in the... I mean, they haven't lost a pistol round, JP. That just speaks to the domination out here from UCL Team S, who have stepped up to the plate and delivered some mighty fine Valorant here tonight.
Just like, honestly, I know it's going to sound bad, but that round is the epitome of both of these maps. It has not been one player, but it's the way that UCL have just taken apart Birmingham Bulls in both the utility usage and the gunplay in a huge number of these rounds. And honestly, it doesn't surprise me that they just did that. They ran through with the frenzy. They got the beautiful transition of the headshots. One of the shots from the frenzy. That's not an easy weapon to do. Whiz. They just can't hold them back. They're just running in and getting mown down. They just have no control of these defensive positions. Like, Justice is here, but just like too late already, as they're going to get another kill. Rain gets a double already on the round. And the problem that they're having is by the time that they get, I mean, they're going to get one back there with Melon, but by the time they're getting on site, the site's already gone. By the time the rotations come through, it's gone. And the UCL team have been so efficient. They have destroyed this Birmingham Bulls team on this map. And again, as you keep rightly pointing out, this is a Birmingham Bulls pick, and they have been absolutely decimated here by the UCL team. Now they have time to buy. Well, we say buy. Look at the weapons they're buying. They don't even have the money to fully buy anything. It's basically an even round after the last one because they're so far behind. They're having to half force a lot of these rounds. And if you're on the side of the UCL team, like, you're feeling so good, your momentum is flying. Like, Rain has walked in both of those rounds, in through the doors, and just been uncontested and blown this Birmingham Bulls team away.
Right there.
UCL Team S kind of on the home straight right here. Everything just looks to be going their way, and the Bulls just look disorganized as Rain goes straight on in, and unfortunately will fall. C499 with the classic out, trying to find something in response. Justice finds them, and actually UCL fumbling around here. It's a rare one from them. The ball's in with a chance at securing, oh goodness, as well, Force as well. And that is the defenders picking up their 4th round here on Fracture. It is their map pick, and to only have 4 of the last 15 rounds, not a good sign. But I've got to say, I don't know what is up with the Bulls. They're not quite meeting expectations right now. Like, I mean, in map 1, we saw some really good signs from them. The rounds just kind of fell the other way, but they still looked really good. In a lot of situations. But here on Fracture, I'm not sure what it is, whether it's the fact that, losing so many rounds in a row or being down a map in the series. I think the pressure of now being in an elimination series where previously they've had no elimination series. They've been playing throughout this entire season. Lovely open from Rain. They've had this entire season and it's been like, well, we've still got, like, even if we lose this game, we can go to the next one. But I think that's got to be attributed to this because this is just not the same team. And Rain is just kind of running around, clicking heads at this point. Should never be allowed, but it's just happened. Rain is on the middle of the site, fighting into tower. Melon does find the pick at least and finds 2. Here's the Melon that we remember from Split. They will be traded out. Justice finds 1. It's a 2-on-2. Birmingham Bulls could do with another round here as they do pick it up. 11-5 and glimmer of hope, I've got to say, for the defenders.
Yeah, but they're still giving up the site super freely. Like, yes, they managed to fight that one back, but that could have been incredibly close as a fight back from. Sorry, let me word this one properly. It wasn't convincing. It could have been incredibly close, that one. Fortunately, they were able to clutch out a couple of those gunfights. Melon getting rid of Rain early on was huge. It's one of their big early fraggers. But then Justice winning out in a 1v1 versus Callum was also another big one, and just able to pick up a round. 11-5, still a long way behind. UCL, remember, they have to win less rounds to win out this than Birmingham Bulls do, but they're on Sheriffs now, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play it as the first opening volleys are going to be exchanged, and the chamber is going to disappear back through the teleporter, and they're going to hide back in the corner underneath, leveling up with Flip, and now they're going to start to see if they can pick up any of these players pushing in. It's a hard push here onto the bomb site. All 5 players stacked up, and it's pretty dangerous still with those Sheriffs, but the one way is in place. Rain, though.
Flip can see underneath, but still unable to do much in the way of damage.
That's a great paint shells. That paint shells was so good from Rain, and though they're going to get picked up in response, that was a massive paint shells. There's now the triple smokes come down. They're going to make their way through. The flash is going to come out. Looks like UCL are going to try and finally execute. They're going to get through. They're going to pick up some kills with these Sheriffs. Any death is huge here. Any kill is massive. They can start to get some rifles in hand. It's 1 player left alive, and it looks like it's going to go pretty badly as the ultimate's going to come through, and they are going to get cleared out. Only 2 players picked up. No rifles exchanged. Good round there again for the Birmingham Bulls. 11-6.
But the UCL sides, they took, I want to say, the last 3 rounds. Well, not the last round. They looked a little bit more prepared in that one. But the previous 2 rounds before that, they were looking a little bit, I want to say careless in that they kind of confident. They're too confident. They were being a little bit aggressive in places where they shouldn't have been, and they threw away a couple of rounds that they really probably should still be tryharding for the win for. Again, this is the lower bracket final. If they manage to throw this game and potentially throw the series, there's no second chances for them. So realistically, they need to keep focused throughout the rest of these rounds and try and close the series. They've only got to win 2, but again, the Bulls already managing to pick up a couple of rounds in a row here on the side of the defense, and who knows how long that might last. Dice does go down, and that's now an entry for the side of UCL. Never a good sign, but it's still a possible hold.
Yeah, guess who it was getting the opening round frag again? I'll give you a free one. The name begins with R, and both the name and the agent begins with R. But there's an op in play here. This could be quite dangerous. Thomas is making a really aggressive push out. They're going to see an op. They are going to see a shoulder, and they should get traded out here. They do. There's 1 player down, but it's 4 players to 3 advantage. This is always good if you're an attacker. They're now going to push on the side. Not massively low health bars, but they're in the position. They have an op in play, and the Jet is not in a good place. The triple smoke is going to come down. It's super hard to push back into them. The players are going to come in. Flip's gone up high. Try and find out if there's any lurkers, anyone playing in that little area. C49's gunners fall and lose the op battle. Justice is trying to find their way onto side. There's a player hiding.
I think he knows.
They do.
Finds it.
So good. But there's a paint shell.
Ooh. It's the
that paint shell.
Oh, Rain again. They know where he is. They tap it. Rain reads the fake. Oh, Flip might actually just stick this one out. Rain needs to go through eventually. They're just going to pick up the round. No. Rain! Oh, it doesn't go through. I think Rain made the correct play on the first tap. 100% not to go through that. But the Astral Divide is just going to keep staying there. And eventually, Flip is just going to stick it. good round here from this Viper, who's definitely taking a step. I believe they were on the Sage last game, had a little bit of a quiet one, but here on Fracture, certainly doing very, very well for themselves. 12 and 13 right now, ultimate up as well, and a couple of clutches under their belt.
Super strange decision, though, from Rain not to push through in the 1v1. You know where the spike is? It's kind of like when they ping it the second time, you probably take the risky 1v1 because there is a risk of holding it. I don't think they obviously didn't expect for Flip to hold it, but it's big. The C499 does have the tour de force out here, and they're going to start pushing up into this other bomb. So they're going to try and attack the place where the Viper isn't, which I quite like because obviously the Viper utility is such a nice denial. But there's a lot of players waiting for them here. Justice up high. The Boombot's not going to find anyone as they push in from Rain. Not maybe the best position Boombot, but they are going to find some information. One player underneath. The tour de force is going to ring out, but not find anyone in the opening salvo.
Chris looking like he was setting up something towards tower there, but decides against it. And they haven't got the strongest buy here as Thomas just flashes on through. Not aware that the Raze is right here, and Rain finds a kill. Just being handed them down a silver platter as Thomas just not looking anywhere close. And Justice on top of the box finds one. And look at the Bulls starting to show off their muscles. And, well, they're giving UCL the horn right now as they've killed another. And looking at just one left, Rain in a 3-on-1. Oh my goodness, the Bulls 11 and 8. This comeback actually starting to happen, JP, and I for one am ready to believe.
Yeah, I can see why you're starting to believe. The Birmingham Bulls have definitely played it out. I think if I was the UCL team, I'd be calling a timeout here to have a quick chat, reset, go again.
I agree.
But again, they're still in this game. They just need to find 2 rounds to win. Remember, Birmingham Bulls need to find 5 rounds still to win this map. UCL need to find 1 to go to a minimum of overtime and 2 to win. So the power and likelihood of winning still sits with Team UCL or the UCL Team S, but the Birmingham Bulls are definitely making their way back into it. And looks like the first trades are going to come through. Good at getting rid of the rocket beforehand, but C499 is also going to fall. Just too many trades coming through. UCL just not able to put enough plays together to get them onto the site. They keep attacking into this Viper. They're not able to make enough plays. They're going to go through the door, see if they can find anyone. Seekers is going to go out. That's going to make a big advantage and try and push into site now. Wow, that's a big pick.
Callum with the blind with no info off of it. Finds one, but with such low HP, Thomas is easily able to swing on out there and secure the round. And the Bulls actually not really, this charge is going well as they've actually managed to secure 6, I believe, in a row here. It's not quite as respectable as what UCL did with 11 in a row, but it's certainly a good sign. They've now closed the gap to just be 2 rounds, which is a position they haven't been in for a very long time, JP.
No.
And it's suddenly a position where we can believe and we can start to think that with a couple of rounds falling their way, they'll equalize it up, and who knows, they could actually take their map pick. And it's one of the things they did warn about in the first half. Their attack didn't look very good, but clearly their defense is a level, a tier, or 2 tiers, a magnitude above, as they're doing so much better in this scenario. Dice swings around and doesn't find anyone. Yeah, that's not a good sign. And the ultimate as well. There's no TP away as Dice is dead.
That is such a good ultimate there. That's back-breaking for the op as well. And they're also going to see the players coming in from the flank. They're going to see a teleport away, but they don't know where the teleport went to. They could just come around the corner and get picked up. They're not going to die to the pistol, though, and Chris now needs to hopefully find a way out. They're not going to find anything on that one. Thomas is going to push in. The 2 of them are going to push in, but it's still 2. It's 2v1. Out of nowhere, it's a 2v1. It's almost a 1v1. This could be interesting to go. It looks like they're going to
running away.
The rotation. They're running as fast as they can. They know they have the time to do it, and they're obviously going to make it difficult for Flip to do anything about it. They aren't going to hear it. Callan's already almost on the site, and this spike's going to go down. Or are they going to do this? How big brain do they want to be?
Surely not too big brain. Surely the Viper's not rotated. Oh, I don't like this at all. I don't know this at all from UCL. They're outbraining themselves. If they'd just gone B, they knew where the Viper was. They could have just sprinted there and at least tried to cut them off at the pass or cross back or something, gone together. But they're kind of giving isolated 1v1s if they go out from either side like this. The flash in Viper knows exactly where they are. C499. Vipers let them cross.
Oh, they know that the Viper's there though. Can they get the op? They do get the op. Oh, that's big.
That was a big one from C499. The movement there to pick that one up, and there we go. Secures the round, and that is now match point coming on up for UCL. It's taken them a while to get it. They lost 6 in a row, but they could actually pick up their ticket to the grand finals in this round. JP, what a map this has actually turned out to be. There's still a chance for the Bulls to make a comeback here. You know, they're not being tamed just yet.
But it's still expensive. They still don't have a huge amount of money available to them at the moment. The Birmingham Bulls, despite putting so many rounds back to back, they've always lost a lot of their team to each round. So the money is still not good. And you can see that there's rifles across the board here for the attackers, and that can make it really hard. The flash is going to come through. It's not going to do anything. The concussion's also going to go out, deny any sort of space for movement. Boombot's going to go through. They're going to tag a little bit of damage through the wall, but so far the opening salvo is not really picking up too much damage. The flashpoint's going to come out, try and find some information, but Chris is going to hold tight. They're not going to push too hard. Use a little bit of utility. Hold on to that second flash. The fault line on 25-second cooldown still to go. And the team is going to start making their rotation probably over to this B-side site and see if they can attack from there. It's looking bleak for the Bulls, but they need to try and find a way in. Thomas has rotated over to help Justice. There's 2 players lurking on the far side as Rain's going to move towards the chamber. And they're going to spam some shots, so they know there's 1 player there at least, but no one's flanking. Chamber utility perfectly set up to prevent any flank right now, as Chris is going to move underneath and join up the rest of the team. Oh, that's the Rolling Thunder available. Oh my goodness me, that's
huge.
This could be bad. It's 5v4. The Rolling Thunder is going to go out. That's oh my goodness me, that's
the ultimate's coming on out. Rain goes on in, but Dice is, he's ready. Callan gets one. TBA Justice with another. C499 doesn't have a response. That Jet is down instantly. Dice, though, fighting his opposite number. C49 gets dropped. It's into a 2-on-1. Wow, could hold the keys to a grand final in his hands. Dice very, very low in the orange on the left there. And I think Wal has the read, but he's got to check the right here. He does, but Melon finds the headshot, and that is enough to keep Birmingham Bulls alive. And that 2v1, fortunately, will go their way as we head into round 23 of a potential 24. And OT could be on the cards for Bulls. You know, that they have to force to OT to secure a victory and at least keep their hopes of grand finals alive. But it's going to be a tough one. This round should be a freebie. Of course, Rain can be the only one with a rifle because of the weak economy side from UCL, but they will still have to win at least 1 more rifle here, and I wouldn't count out UCL on the pistols. No. They're still pretty cracked. I mean, we saw an ace on a pistol from Rain. He's still got a Vandal in hand, so absolutely could go huge. And Dice missing the shot down to 30 HP does teleport away into the life, but they're still so low.
Can they find? Oh, they're going to spam the wall. They're going to find it. That's a rifle handed over to Callan. It means that the 5v4 advantage is still in place. And attackers always benefit from the advantage of the attack. But, geez, Justice is already here. They need to look behind them. They need to find them.
Oh,
just
no!
2 down so fast. Thomas finds another one. Rain does trade it back, but not a lot of HP left. It's going to be all on them in the chamber. 3 HP in a dream. Chamber coming in from the far side. C499, the utility somehow not finding the Jet. Is that the second time that's happened where someone's not been found by the utility of the chamber? Because it feels like it.
No, the first time that chamber was well dead. But here, I'm not sure what happened. I wasn't looking at that flank, so I didn't see how that.
Can you jump over the top of it?
I don't think so. It's such a wide catchment area. It shouldn't. I mean, maybe with a dash.
That feels weird.
Yeah, Flip does secure the round in that 3v1. C499 will go down. And this is the last round of regulation. We could see a grand finalist come out of it, or we could see the potential for OT. And who knows what could happen. I believe the third map, is it Haven? Is it Haven?
Yes, we're going to Haven.
Yeah, so if Birmingham Bulls do manage to pull off a pretty miraculous comeback, they will push us to Haven, which, to be honest, is anyone's game, frankly, from the way both these teams are performing. With such a strong performance on Split, and then strong performance on both teams, to be honest. Here, Haven, I don't even want to make a prediction.
No, I know. They need to be looking to get Rain the last ult orb, because they're 1 off their ultimate at the moment, so I think they might be trying to secure this ultimate orb.
There you go.
They're going to get access to the showstopper. They're going to try and find some people. That gives them access to huge amount of space. There's 2 players already flanking. They need to be careful because
they've been spotted.
Yes.
The trademark went off, so they do know that.
Go C4.
Oh,
C499. That's so good. That lurk was insane. They pushed up. They weren't expecting it. Tour de Force now comes into play as well. Another key ultimate available to them. And the Seekers are going out as well.
Astra?
Hard committed to this.
Going straight on in. Rain trying to find their kill. Going to shoot on it off. But it won't find anything. It's Justice the player to find the kill. Chris finds response to Melon. But Justice is still on site. They spray him through the smoke. 4-on-2 Bulls in a 2-on-4 spree. This is do or die for them. They have to pick up this insane clutch right now. Otherwise, they are out. And UCL will secure a grand final spot. The last grand final spot up against SG Bandits. This time next Thursday as Dice finds one. That's 25% of the way. 1 out of 4.
Time's the problem. Time's the problem.
Oh no! Flip doesn't check the corner properly, and the ultimate will be wasted. Dice finds 1v2 now. Rain, still the star player, alive. Dice trying to check him. But Rain finds the headshot, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Your 2 finalists will be SG Bandits and UCL Team S, who have both shown some amazing performances throughout this entire tournament. But what a series from UCL Team S. They lost to Birmingham Bulls not 3 weeks ago, 2-1. Yet today they've come out swinging with a 2-0 victory. Absolute domination over on Split. And it looks pretty one-sided as well here on Fracture. Birmingham Bulls, a last kick before rigor mortis set in. But they will be knocked out, and UCL make it to the final. JP, what a miraculous series that was. It was astounding how well they played that Fracture. And I don't think anyone expected it to be over in 2 maps.
No, I didn't. I mean, if you'd have asked me after the first round, obviously it's more like before the match, obviously we would have said it would have been 2-1 somewhere. We felt that the teams were pretty evenly matched. After the first one, I felt that it was more likely to be a UCL 2-0, but it still wasn't that likely because Birmingham Bulls coming to Fracture. As that match was going on, it's like, this is 11-3. This feels kind of over. And then it's 11-9 and it's starting to panic. But it was all about Rain of Terror, whatever you want to call it. The reign of Rain has begun. That player popped off in both those maps. And it would only be correct that they got the final frag, the final kill to finish off that map. 2-0, UCL absolutely deserving that final position. But the Birmingham Bulls showed the fight that they showed the fight in that map that they didn't show in map 1. And had they have shown that in map 1, it could have gone either way. But in this one, they really showed some fight back. And I think that they're looking really good for the next split. Unfortunately, as you say, they do bow out right now. But it was a very, very close affair in that round.
Yeah, I think it's a well-deserved 3rd place from the Bulls. They put on an amazing performance in the upper bracket final, and they did do very well here on Fracture as well. Again, we kept saying there were some good rounds from them in the first game, just the rest of the rounds, just a little bit unlucky. A few of them didn't go their way. They weren't going to pick up that map, but maybe they could have made a tighter scoreline. But they've got to be happy with their performance. I mean, top 3, still very, very strong. They fought through the entire of the winter season, qualifying for Varsity. They've then gone through Varsity. I think they were 2nd or 3rd seed coming out of the round robin stage, and then they've gone all the way through the brackets in the playoff. They've made it to the upper bracket finals. They've dropped at the last minute. They put on a very good performance in the lower bracket, but they are finally out. I hope that they've at least enjoyed the journey, and they do, I believe, still get some prizes for this point in Varsity. So they've got to take that, and hopefully most of these players, we will see them back either in the summer season, whenever that happens, or again, hopefully next year, because what a team they are, and we will miss them. Of course, but really the team to talk about today, the team of the day, UCL Team S, absolutely amazing. And now they are in the grand finals. They are a map down, JP, but do you think, I mean, you and I both know SG Bandits pretty well. We've now seen UCL Team S perform very, very strong. You got any predictions? I mean, I know you'll be on the desk next week, so, you know, you'll make a real prediction then, but any preliminary thoughts for that grand final?
You obviously have to give the advantage to the Bandits. They're going in a map up, which means they only have to win 2. So if we look at it on just what's on paper, taking away from what's around us and what we know, SG Bandits have to win 2 matches or 2 maps. UCL have to win 3, which therefore makes it much easier for the SG Bandits.
A lot easier.
I don't remember a reverse win in a grand final I've commentated in University Valorant. Now, I've only done 3 grand finals, and generally the upper bracket, the higher bracket team has won.
It's a huge advantage.
It is a huge advantage because it's such a huge advantage. Now, obviously, 2 of those finals, one of them was a demolition job by Warwick Direwolves over the Blue Jays at Rootkit, and the other one was Reading taking down SG Bandits, which again was a 3-1. The SG Bandits did get one back then. The third one, I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was, but generally speaking, the advantage goes to the team with that extra game. This season might be a little bit different. This is probably the one matchup where I can see the Bandits getting held despite that advantage. Like, I can see you. So UCL as a team have enough firepower to take down the Bandits.
Yes.
Like if Rain pops off, as we saw in this game, there is a very good chance. There's a couple of other players that need to probably step up a little bit. There were a couple of quiet, like it was very quiet for Cullen in both those games. The Sky didn't have a huge amount of impact in either of those games, or it didn't feel impactful. We weren't saying, "Oh my god, we're going in. We got a clutch from Cullen." It was like clutch from Chris, or it was just Rain taking over the game. The opening, the first blood percentage was very much favoured into
C499,
or C499. It very much felt like they were a supporting cast, which is fine, and
they're on the Sky. It's still
agreed. It's a huge part of that agent's pick, but it never felt like they were also in a position to clutch, if that makes sense. It was very much they weren't a passenger exactly. They had a lot of impact in the game. The Sky generally does. But I never remember as sort of going mad for that player. So I think there's still a lot of room for this team to grow. I haven't cast too much of the Bandits. I have done one game and it was obviously very strong. Now they've had a slightly easier run into this one, which also can be a negative. Like if you imagine they haven't played for the last week or last 2 weeks. So they won't play for the last week to today, but they haven't played for the last 2 weeks from next Thursday when we do go to that final. So again, the benefit that UCL does have is they've played two extra maps. They've had a little bit of extra practice time together. They might be able to scrim. We also don't know what the scrim schedules are like right now and the availability for the Bandits to do scrims. So I'm not going to predict it yet because I really need to go away and have a look at some of the Bandits games, especially from like the ones that you've cast previously that I haven't been able to do. But on paper, just from the raw stats of what we've got, SG Bandits are going to be the favourites to take this final down. They've come through the upper bracket. They've beaten the Birmingham Bulls. They've beaten all these other teams out. I believe they also finished as the number 1 seed in the regular sort of quote unquote split where we were playing the best of one. I believe they came first.
Yes, they did.
So they first seeded and they demolished the opposition quite handily in a lot of those games. They were quite hot. They were a good couple of games ahead of anyone else. So because of that, on paper, they look like the favourites. But this UCL team 100%. Today has definitely shown that they have the firepower to match that Bandits team. It's just going to be a matter if they're able to come up and also pick up those small little mistakes, like losing a round with a Rolling Thunder going through. It's little things like that they need to tighten up. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great final, and UCL definitely deserve to be there.
It certainly will be, and I cannot wait to watch it. It's going to be next Thursday, I believe. I think it's the same time. I can't remember. But it's a full-on best of 5 with the map advantage going towards SG Bandits. You definitely do not want to miss next week's final game of Varsity. Big prizes on the line, big prestige for the university team that's able to pick it up. But that's next week. And JP is going to be, I think we're allowed to say, in a studio. So you won't have to see these same curtains next week. There'll be different curtains or no curtains at all. Who knows? But yes, that's next Thursday. We're all done for today, though. We've delivered you your grand finalists. Now they've just got to play each other. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thank you to our sponsors, Intel and Twitch Student, for making the entire tournament possible. And thank you to you, JP, for being such a great co-caster. Thank you to our production and everyone else. I think, JP, that is us signing off. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And make sure you tune in next Thursday.